What up, Suns fans? Another day, another loss for the Suns as the Suns lose their fifth straight game to the New York Knicks. Suns final score 122 to the Knicks 138. Sorry, I was just looking real quick at that schedule. It's really tough to see this team go from 9-2 all the way to 9-7 now, which is the Suns record as they lose their fifth straight game. It's another day not competing and being nowhere close to competing. There's sparks of it. This team without KD or Bill, we can't put together something special. We saw it against the Timberwolves before it was stolen from us. And we saw a bit of it here as we do have that offensive firepower, but it still takes a lot of things to go even right for us to even get wins. Just another night spoiled by the New York Knicks this time, as they are our tormentors. So apparently walking into this game, New York Knicks are the third highest rated offense in the league. And boy, did that show through. They immediately blasted us to the first quarter. A 44-point quarter. It was already over from that point. I was actually really mad, but that third quarter, that gave me some life. Definitely, I think what Suns fans needed there to make this game not an absolute catastrophe. But I still think there's enough good takeaways from this game that us Suns fans have just been kind of concerned about this team as we near the end of the stretch without KD and Bill. More on that. Today, there was a interview where Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, Phoenix Mercury, and now the Valley Suns, he went on to ESPN, talked to Shams Charania, but he talked with Shams. He said a lot of interesting things about KD possibly retiring here as a Sun. That is really interesting as the talks right now are all about KD getting his extension here in Phoenix. I bet he probably will. We like KD. KD seems to like it here. That will be interesting seeing how KD spends the rest of his career possibly here in the Valley. But that is not the focus of today's show. As more interestingly, Shams was able to bring up a update on the injury of KD. KD, who has now missed 7 games for the Suns. According to Shams, we could see him next week. That's right, Suns fans. The suffering might be over, finally. This stretch of Suns games has just been awful to view. I've been saying it the last couple of games, but it just sucks not being able to compete. We try, but there's just nothing getting us over that stretch. Like, there's no X factor. X factor is KD, as we've just been playing absolute terrible basketball. Things have started weirdly looking better over the last course of games with some players, and we'll get to those players, but we really need KD back on this team. I miss seeing Suns basketball being it. I mean, I'm watching it, but are we really watching Suns basketball? Not really. So hopefully KD will be back. Speaking of resting though and being back next week, this is the final game of the Suns this week. So we've had a pretty intense schedule the last couple of days. 5 games in like an entire week, all back to back to back to back. And it's just been a grueling schedule. Especially in the last couple of games when you have to go against OKC, one of the better defensive teams in the West and one of the better teams in the league in general, than Orlando, who was apparently a defensive mastermind, then having to deal with Sacramento and Minnesota, who are both tall teams. So rough couple of games this past week, and we're finally getting a break. It's a 5-day break where this team is going to rest until Tuesday when we have our game against the LA Lakers. So let's get into the numbers here, the little details that actually made me walk away from this team with a more positive note than really nothing. If there was nothing to glean from this game, I would have a totally different mood walking into this game. But I definitely think there is some positive to take away. The Suns' 3-point ball, right? A lot of Suns were shooting pretty good from 3. We ended up 38% from 3. We got up 53. I knew we were taking a lot of threes, but I didn't know 50 was the mark. But we did tie the Knicks in their threes. So both teams made 19 threes. But where the Knicks really blasted us was fast break points, as Suns again came out flat footed. Whether that be fatigue or the coaching on this team, we can't really say for sure, as this first half was really rough to watch, especially the Knicks starting out the first 5 minutes of this game 100% from shooting. They did not miss a shot until like late first quarter or second quarter, but Brunson was crazy. He apparently woke up on the right side of the bed this morning. I don't know what that dude ate for breakfast. That dude is just crazy. And they were bringing up all broadcasts about he's never missed a three from the last time he was in Phoenix, which he dropped a 50 bomb. And this game, he did get 36. So we held him off there. Another positive note on that. A little later, but Jalen Brunson still went crazy on us that first half, and Suns weren't just playing as a complete team. That was insane. Never again. But the second half was really nice. We finally got it down to 11 points till they put it back to 20. So most of this game was a 20-point lead for the Knicks. There's not that much team stats to be excited about. We still got blasted in rebounds, and that is mostly due to Karl Anthony Towns, as we could not stop Karl Anthony Towns. That was a whole different issue for the Suns. And I think a bigger issue that the Suns need to continue before they consider themselves championship material. I should probably get this out of the way here. Do I think the Suns could win a championship now? Maybe if they're really lucky and like they have a Boston all injured run to the championship. Then I'd say, yeah, but I'd give that like a 20% chance of happening. I just believe at this point right now, the Suns are inadequate. They don't have defense. Defense is the biggest problem I have with the Suns right now. Even when I said they had this issue with just doubling down and really knowing their actions, they just seem really unsure of whether they're going to shoot it or not. They just seem really scared. There's many examples of tonight where this team had many good chances to score that baskets, but they didn't because they looked for a better option, which ended up being nothing because the Knicks were able to scramble fast enough to cover everything, and it was a wasted possession. So, I mean, that's an example of what I think the Suns have a problem in general. But their bigger issue right now and going forward, even when fully healthy, is still defense. Even when KD was on this team, interior defense was a nightmare, especially facing many of those early games. You know, why the Lakers is such a thorn in our backs every year, because their whole offense is driving down in the paint. It's annoying, okay? So I think that's definitely an issue. Suns, they have a chance to win a championship. But as they're currently constructed right now, I'd probably say like 10 to 20% chance of them actually winning the championship this year. Just being honest out here, guys. So I do think I've hinted at this in later or past episodes, but we're still like a good trade away from this team being actual contenders. So I'm really excited to see what Ishbia and crew have cooking up in the wings. They're always cooking every season. I really like the front office of this team. So I'm interested to see what we have on the trade table come around February trade deadline. But going further into other things I found nice, a lot of us have been concerned about our boy Book here in the Valley, right? He's been pretty silent, especially against the Sacramento and OKC games when we really needed him. But I think he's definitely made some sparks. He's still there, people. There's a heart. He's not completely washed, and we don't have to trade him off this team. Like that was even an option in the first place. Because it's really not. We're never going to trade Book. So he's here, probably retiring as a Sun. All right? Love him or hate him in his current form right now. But I definitely have to say that Suns fans will be loving him right now, as Booker gave us a 30 burger. Not as great as his Minnesota night was, but 30 points. Needed it tonight, where everything was collapsing on the Suns here. They were really distraught. I'm telling you guys, I can't stress this enough. That first quarter was so bad. Literally, we needed anything to go our way. And things did get better, and Devin Booker definitely led that charge. So, 33 points, take it or leave it. Final offer. I will also compliment Booker here on his free throws. He's been really good with his free throws the last couple of games. I was in my head saying, yeah, a Book has never missed I don't remember the last time Book missed a free throw. But I just had to say that as he then missed a free throw in the third quarter. So he did go 7 of 8 from the free throw line. But a bad 3-point shooting nights. They weren't guarding Book that close tonight. Like they weren't sending doubles to him every play. But if Book was even more into a rhythm, if he was even more assertive, he could definitely got that 40 burger. All right. So 5 assists, 3 rebounds. An all right night for Book. Ryan Dunn had an amazing night. I think he's fully back. He was 2 of 4 from 3. He just seems to be hitting his threes a lot more. I like the way he played defensively on Brunson tonight. He should have definitely been picking him up full court way sooner in the game, but I think maybe that's what tired the Brunsonator in the later half. So Ryan Dunn tried his best out there, but it was clearly not enough for Jalen Brunson. We also got to see decent showings from Yusuf Nurkic tonight. A very weird night for Yusuf Nurkic. Suns fans hate him. I kind of still like him on this team. But it's really weird. He was injured the last couple of games, and now he's here. He's 3 of 5, had a better shooting night than Grayson Allen. That's just things you don't see. 12 rebounds. He got the double-double. 3 steals, though. It's a weird caveat in Nurkic's defensive game because he does steal the ball a lot recently. But he can't guard cats. It's terrible. He just fouls every time he tries to guard cats. And he was just overall a big defensive liability on this team. But like I said, we just needed anything in this terrible game. So Yusuf Nurkic going that, having a weirdly good night. We'll take it. Tyus Jones, pretty all right nights. He's questionable on offense at times. He really just missed a couple of threes that would have gave the Suns much needed momentum, especially one I remember where he clanked one, got the ball back, and then clanked it again. This team needs to get it together. I hope the Suns could just take this rest and they come back awesome. I want this team to be competitive again, man. Royce O'Neal? Okay, now we get to the interesting part. Royce O'Neal ended up starting tonight. He ended up replacing Mason Plumlee or Oso. We've been trying this two tower strategy the last couple of games. So Royce O'Neal coming back into starting on him had a pretty awful first half, and I was ready to dunk on him. He could barely dribble around the Knicks without turning it over. And then he had this one fast break, his only steal of tonight. He stole it, ran the mile, sandwiched by 2 Knicks, and then he missed the layup. So I was ready to dunk on Royce O'Neal, but he was such a big effort and played such a big part into why we had a almost comeback in the second half, okay? He ended the night 5 of 10 from 3. Exactly what we needed. And here's the questioning part. As Grayson Allen came into the game, Grayson Allen had a terrible night. He was 1 of 8 from 3. Couldn't hit anything except when he went to go lay up the buckets, using all that bulk and getting foul calls. But it was exact opposites. Because in the third quarter, a very important quarter, we got the lead down to 11. Then we subbed out Booker and Grayson Allen came in. And we leaned so heavily on Grayson Allen during that third quarter. When we needed him most, 11-point lead, by the way. First point of this game where we could have been anywhere near competitive. But no, Grayson Allen misses like 3 or 4 straight 3-point baskets and completely kills all the momentum. And then just a couple threes later, the Knicks come storming back, and it's already a 20-point lead again. A terrible response coming from a Knicks timeout. It's an amazing response if you're a Knicks fan, but a terrible response for the Suns fans here. We should have really kept going to Royce O'Neal. If he's got the hot hand, then keep feeding him. I know Grayson Allen is our shooting guard here and is supposed to be our 3-point specialist, but Grayson Allen wasn't shooting well before. He only made 1 3 the entire game. That third quarter solidified it, as this was a bad night for Grayson Allen. And I really just wish we kept going back to Royce O'Neal, because he was fire. He was killing it from 3. Could have definitely got this into like single digits leads. and it sucks. Grayson Allen, once again, looks very questionable on this team. I really question why he had to bulk up during the offseason, and just a terrible night. Terrible coaching in that moment, by the way. I mean, let's get into the bench here now. I mean, it is all right for the bench. Mason Plumlee barely saw any minutes. Kind of crazy that we just went to either Oso or Nurkic this whole game. We tried Oso for 14 minutes. He didn't have, like, he has been having these last two nights, like in Orlando and Minnesota. He is just mainly defending Cats, which we don't have an answer for Cats. Like, again, the issue, I still think defense is the biggest problem on the Suns team in general. So not much action from our centers. But you know what we did see? We got to see Bobo. He played 4 minutes in garbage time. And that was the best 4 minutes of this game. 4 points. Easy. Enough said. We also got to see Monte Morris out there tonight. He got some nice threes. 10 points. Pretty nice. And then we just have trash minute players. Damian Lee in that trash minute, I don't know what that showcase was. He definitely went out there trying to prove himself and get like some rotation minutes. But I think he did himself a disservice because now I'm thinking that we should just send him to the G League at this point. Damian Lee in 4 minutes of garbage time was 0 of 4 from 3, 1 of 5 in general. He had 4 points because he went to the free throw line, knocked those two down. He had an assist and a steal and a turnover. Damian Lee, man, a rough night. So, yeah, let's never talk about this game again. The Knicks fans might bring this up, and it's probably going to be mentioned again probably a year from now, next season, when the Knicks come to Phoenix once again. But there's only one way to respond to a loss like this, as hopefully we have another blast out game and are actually fully healthy when we head to Madison Square Garden. That is happening in April later next year. Even though the Suns lose, still some general good points. It's great seeing Book score again. It's nice seeing Dunn. He still has his shot out there. Royce O'Neal still has his shot out there, although he still remains very streaky. And Josh Okogie had an also pretty all right night. And we also take a second loss in our new city edition. So we're currently 0 of 2 in our city editions. That's really rough. So I hope you have a nice 5-day break away from this team. I hope we all get to just gain back our sanity and our mental health before we continue watching more Suns games. We will be back here on Tuesday when the Phoenix Suns will be taking on the LA Lakers in Game 3 of the in-season tournament. We still have a chance from what it looks like. OKC, I thought OKC would dominate, but they've lost. So, I mean, if we're fully healthy when we come back, we could probably storm back in that. But I don't know if we'd like to play an extra game just to win an in-season championship. But whatever, we'll see it. We'll see what happens come game day once again. All right, see you guys next time. And Suns up!